Hi guys, and welcome back to Ben's Home Video, where today we're talking about our video's 4K transfer of 12 Monkeys. Yes, so this has got the new artwork by Gary Pullin, which I'm not really a fan of, Sozgaz, but it's got the original artwork, which I do really like. So you got the disc and the booklet there. So it's a new transfer from the 35mm, and the colour grading was supervised by Terry Gilliam, the director. So it's a Dolby Vision encode and a DTS 5.1 master audio track. So I found this transfer to be a lot grain heavier than I thought it would be. Like, I know it's not massive budget film, but it's a pretty big budget film. But after looking into it, it was apparently Terry Gilliam used soft focus and different lenses and stuff intentionally. So while the film grain is consistent in each scene, it does fluctuate throughout the whole film slightly, whether or not that's down to degradation of the film or just different lenses causing it. But if you hate grain, it's not the best transfer for you. I like grain, but as I said, it was fluctuating slightly. But saying that, when I did the playback info on my Blu-ray player, came up that it was hitting about 70 to 90 quite consistently. So skin tones look very natural, I found. Not oversaturated and not too cold. Some directors do like to make their films a bit cold, looking like Michael Mann with heat. The black levels were so black. It looked great. It looked so good. So there's obviously some nighttime scenes. I don't want to give too much away, obviously. And like shadow detail was great. The black, some cars. That looked nice and shiny still, with it, even with the dark background. You could make out most of the detail on it. You ain't getting many black levels better than that. So even though my slight complaint about the soft focus on it, some of the scenes looked absolutely beautiful. Like some of the best you'll see on 4K. Only a couple of scenes, but like when the way they're bathed in light with the sunlight coming in, looking very natural, by the way, I would say. Not oversaturated again. It was just a lot of pure beauty within this film, and I loved it. So you'll see that the red's much deeper and the pillars are much more detailed and more natural looking. And just a better overall picture. This one's a bit more subtle, but the bright lights and the night sky are much better, a lot more dynamic looking. These will be SDR, not HDR, by the way. So it'll be even better on the actual disc. Hair and skin tones in this picture, far superior. Well, you can see for yourself, obviously. And I think this is probably the one where you'll notice the most difference. Look how much better that looks. One last little note on the video part is that there's a couple of scenes with a bit of neon in. And one of my favourite things about 4K video, especially in Dolby Vision, is when the neon pops. And it does in this, it's really good. So the DTS 5.1 master audio track, really good. The dialogue is clear, natural sounding, good separation on the front speakers. Like, it's what you want from this film. So the surrounds are used sparingly for dialogue, but when they use it well. It's more kind of a nice ambient sound, a bit of street sounds and whatnot. It's, yeah, decent. I like it. It's not going to, blow your balls off or anything, but it's a really good soundtrack. The bass, there isn't much bass, but that's more to do with the film more than to do with the bad mix. It's not an overly bass heavy film. So my thoughts on the presentation is they did well with what they had, because apparently they weren't afforded any sound stages, so they had to use abandoned buildings and kind of real locations and stuff. So I think they did a good job with that when it comes, do you know what I mean? So they filmed it well, and now the 4K kind of has suffered slightly for it, but it still looks good. And soundtrack, not the most dynamic you're ever going to hear, but still very good. I'd say my overall score is kind of like a 3.5 to 4. out of 5. So 4 if you mark it on what they had to work with. 3.5 if you're going as just out and out, you don't know anything about how it was made or anything. That's how it looks. So I've known about this film for 25-ish years. My mum and dad rented it on video when it kind of first came out on video, and I was told I wasn't allowed to watch it. So I always remember the front cover of the video cassette from Oscar's video. I've always wanted to watch it, just never got around to it. I loved it, really loved it. It was a great sci-fi. I love that kind of 90s dystopian type films anyway. So I know it was mostly set technically in the past, but at the time, the present. But the bits that were kind of dystopian future, I thought they did a great job of. Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, both do great jobs. I mean, Brad Pitt actually does a really good job of being a kind of bit kind of on edge, kind of nutso. Not sure that's politically correct, but that's what he was. Yeah, great film. Recommend it to anyone. My score of the film for enjoyment levels is 4.5 out of 5. So I'm a harsh critic. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.